man. Always leaving dishes for me to clean up. But no, I don't like a dirty kitchen. People find his way to the fridge for a beer, but you can't find his way to the sink to put some dishes. But that's alright. At least you don't like my cooking. I don't cook all kind of things. I really enjoy making food from different cultures, you know? But it's the smell of warm tea cakes that evoke the best memories for me. Somehow my mother always managed to make these little cakes for us as after school treats, even though she had worked a full-time job, you know? They were like a cookie, a simple, slightly sweet butter cookie, coming into a home saturated with a smell like sugar, butter, and vanilla. Ooh, that was the best. You have something like that, with a taste or even just the smell alone will take you right back home. Ain't that the best feeling? But I carried this memory with me all into my own marriage. I made these tea cakes for the first time on my own after I was married. Eating them just brought a sense of comfort and assurance, like a blessed assurance that everything was going to be all right. These tea cakes have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. But you know, over the years, I did change up the recipe just a little bit. I decreased the amount of sugar, and sometimes I add a little lemon to it. I'm always looking for ways to make my food a little more healthy. But you can't change the flavor. Don't change the flavor. But my mother's recipe though, that one is special. So, I'm going to give you the recipe for another food from my childhood. Louisiana jambalaya. Yes. I've been eating Louisiana jambalaya from when I was small, so it's very nostalgic for me. It reminds me of my mother and just the days of my youth. My mother taught me the basics of this dish, how to make it hearty and very flavorful. You know, it'll take some work. You can't just throw everything in the pot and expect it to come out right. You have to take the time to saute the vegetables and the rice and butter. And this adds a depth of flavor to it. And I always tell when somebody don't do this. And I also boil the chicken and the sausage separately so they don't add extra grease to the dish. You know, I need to keep my whole heart healthy and strong, if you know what I mean. Oh, God, forgive me. I survived. It's Sunday morning, and God has been better to me than I've been to myself. I just need to get my mind right.
Come on out there, quiet. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Oh, Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Oh, my Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Oh, love and tell him what you want. Life.
and a homemade pie crust. Who make the pie crust from scratch. Right? Well, that's what my grandmother always used to do. So sometimes she used to use a Pillsbury, right? But that's only when she wanted to make something quick. But I remember this one time I was still living at home and I wanted to make a cherry pie. So I get to thinking, I will make my crust from scratch, right? Because I want to be like my grandma. So I make my crust and I don't know what happened or what went wrong. But all I remember is my mother telling me not to do that again. I think she was talking about making the crust myself. But that's alright. That's why they have the Pillsbury, right? Not everybody will go from scratch like my mama. So I ain't never have to try that again. You smell that? I think you're ready. Yeah. You know, it'll say that homemade, homegrown are usually the best. But let me tell you, that ain't always the case. I found this recipe in an issue of Essence magazine, right? But it's quiche with collard greens. Well, the recipe calls for a pack of frozen collard greens. Well, I get to thinking, I'm gonna use the fresh, because that's gonna make it taste a little better, right? The taste was just different. That's no mean in a good way. So of course I went back to using the frozen. Now going back to the fresh, ain't changing again. Not even to use with like frozen spinach or nothing like that. But then let me tell you, this is a lesson. When something don't work, leave it alone, right? But guess what? This quiche became one of the favorites for Sunday dinner. Collard green quiche with some baked chicken and rice and gravy. That's some good food. This is gonna be good, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad everybody coming together for Sunday dinner. A potluck is so nice to bring people closer. Everybody can make their signature dishes and people will try something new. Now me, I come from a family of cooks. But I could never cook as good as my sisters and my mother and my father. Now you know, I've learned a thing or two about cooking. So I could cook some food that won't kill nobody. I just never try to compete with it. Oh my goodness. When I think about some of the foods we had on our table, oh gosh. We had the collard greens, the pig's feet, the turkey wings, the potato stuffing, cabbage, cornbread, and the yams. Whew, I'm mouth watering just talking about it. Okay, now you're gonna have to help me with this thing here. Let me know when it's straight, okay? If I know if I don't get this thing straight, that's all you're gonna be looking at. If you let me. Let me know. How to look? Good? Alright, thank you. But you know, I was just thinking about the holidays. And I think for me, Thanksgiving had to be the best. That's when my daddy would make the turkey in the Dutch oven, right? And while I was cooking, he would teach us how to make the powerhouse rolls from scratch. He would show us how to add the yeast and the salt to the flour. How to cover the dough with a piece of cloth and just wait for it to rise. The whole time, the smell of that turkey just filling up the house. Ooh, and his stuffing always had the right amount of seasoning and the right consistency. Oh gosh, I miss my daddy's cooking. Okay, now how about this one? Is that good? This one. Down you said? Yeah. See, I like it. Oh boy. Yeah, the best thing was my mommy's macaroni and cheese. Isn't that the best comfort food? Macaroni and cheese. That just fills my whole spirit. I remember I used to stand up in the kitchen and watch you make it. But you know, these old master cooks, they don't measure nothing. You still measure?
Yes.
Okay, see? Well, I had thought I had get it right. You know, for my mother, it was a pinch of this and a dash of that. She didn't use the measuring cups. So I find myself trying to make her macaroni and cheese. And I had to call her up. I said, Mommy, how much of this you pour in? She would just laugh and try to tell me her best. But guess what? Today, my family expect me to make the macaroni and cheese just like we expect Mommy to make it. Now that's a compliment to me. But you already know, I done went and make my own little changes to it. But nothing big though, nothing big. My family would probably kill me dead for that one. Don't mess with my